Don't let them challenge you. Don't let them intimidate you. And you do your thing.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I am Milk and this is Milk Astrology, and today we're going to be doing another weekly tarot video.
If it takes so long to hit me back,
I always do air signs first, so I would prefer that you apply your rising, but you can apply your sun, moon, Mars, or Venus. I just feel like the rising sign will be the most accurate. So yeah, if you are in Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, this reading is for you. And okay. This week I have Three of Pentacles reversed, which is talking about disalignment with yourself. I feel like you have a very specific set of expectations for yourself or for others that you want or that you have in your head, but I don't feel like what's happening around you is meeting up to that or it's living up to that. I feel like you're kind of going through a realization where what you thought you wanted might not be what's in front of you or what's going on right now. And I also have King of Wands reversed, and so the energy this week for you is you're feeling really impulsive. I feel like you're feeling really restless. You're feeling reckless in a sense, because I feel like what you're trying to compensate for maybe those expectations that you feel have been let down, that you don't really want to talk about just yet. I feel like you're really sensitive about being disappointed or being in a situation where what you thought you wanted isn't something that's happening for you. So I feel like it's having you act out. Like you're going through a sense of not necessarily being able to see things through right now, because I also don't feel like you're trying to be very forthcoming or honest about what you're feeling. So instead of talking about it or dealing with it in like a healthy or productive way, you're kind of lashing out. And I also have Six of Swords. This is really interesting because I feel like you're coming to the conclusion that something that you wanted or something that you thought isn't going to end up the way that you had planned. And I think you're going to be working towards letting go of this and making space for something better or something more along the lines of some like an idea that fits your needs versus like the unrealistic expectations that you've been having. And I do think you're going to act out a bit. There's going to be some pushback because no one really wants to be told that what they want is something that they can't have, as well as no one really wants to be told that what they have an idea of is unobtainable at the moment or just not realistic at the moment. So I do think you're going to be releasing some baggage this week that I don't think you were prepared to let go of. This could be a relationship, this could be a situation at work, this could just be inner goals with yourself, because I do feel like there's this huge theme of just not being aligned with yourself, with your own needs. I feel like you've been working so much to help or prioritize other people that you've kind of lost sight of yourself in the process. And I do think that be taking the time to kind of reconnect with yourself and your own needs and being okay with the fact that you can start over again and not feeling like that's a doomsday sentence. I feel like you're in this mindset of if you have to start over, it's going to reset you or it's going to bring you back to square one. And I don't really think that's the case. I think you just need to alter your perspective about a situation. And I also have communication is key, new moon in Gemini. So this is really talking about overall you're going to be closing a chapter of your life and moving forward into a new direction. And I think the more that you do articulate your feelings this week, the easier it'll be for you. But that's also not going to be something that you want to do. I feel like your initial knee-jerk reaction is going to be to like fight that or repress your emotions, but that's going to just be like a slippery slope, and I do think that's not going to give you the results that you're looking for. So you need to talk about your feelings this week. For my earth signs, I have Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. I would prefer you apply your rising sign, but you can apply your sun, moon, Mars, or Venus. I just feel like the rising sign will be the most accurate for you. And yeah, so I have your cards for you this week, and I just want to preface this with the fact that this seems like a very blunt reading. I feel like what you're going to hear might not be something that you want to hear. So just if you feel like you don't want a blunt reading right now, maybe put this on pause, get a snack, come back when you have a glass of wine. Maybe just don't watch this right now. Okay, so with that being said, let's dive right in. I have the Justice reverse card, and I feel like this has been an ongoing theme for you. I feel like things have just not been fair. I don't know if it's because you yourself are not doing the things that you need to do. Oh my god, stop licking me, I love you. I don't know if this is about things that you're not doing right, or if this is about a situation that you're in where you just feel like you're being slighted. I don't think you're actually speaking up about it though. It looks like something is being skewed not in your favor, or you could be the one to be not necessarily balanced right now or fair about a situation. I feel like either you're extremely defensive or someone else around you could be taking advantage of you, and I don't really think you know how to speak on it just yet. I also have the Emperor reverse, so I'm getting the vibe that you might have a masculine figure in your life. I don't know if this is like a father figure, but you have someone in your life that's very controlling about how you deal with things or how you go about doing things. I feel like there is a huge sense or a huge shift of someone in your life that's really just weighing on you this week. I feel like the things that they want for you, or the things that they want in general, are very dominative. I feel like the things that they want are very bossy, and there's not a lot of window for you to be able to express yourself or how you feel. Also getting the Sun reversed, so I do feel like a lot of the situation is depleting your energy and your sense of happiness or comfort. I feel like you've been kind of sacrificing your comfort levels or what you're okay with to accommodate what they're okay with or what they need. And this week, I think it's really important that you keep in mind that you don't have to do things the way that other people want you to do them, and you don't have to live the way that other people want you to live. This feels like a very heavy reading though. I don't feel like this is someone in your life that really has your best interest, and I don't think that's something that you want to hear, because I feel like obviously there's some level of respect there, or there's some level of loyalty or love. There's some kind of investment, which is why you're in the situation that you're in. And I don't think you want to realize like that this dynamic is not helping you in a way that you need help. But I do feel like taking time to reassess or reevaluate your situations and maybe decide, well, maybe they're not the best person I should be living my life for, or like putting so much weight into their opinions with. Trying to get out of this dynamic as well of feeling like you need to please them or you need to accommodate them. I feel like once you can separate yourself from them or find any kind of safe space away from them is going to be obviously the best route to take in this dynamic. But I am a little hesitant with this reading because I feel like this could also indicate that this is a really sucky situation for you to get out of. Maybe it's really hard for you to separate yourself from them, and if that's the case, I would definitely recommend reaching out to as many of the people in your life as possible that you feel like you could get help from. In order to get away from this person. I don't know how bad the situation is. This could also be on a very small scale. This could be like someone did something very like annoying this week, and this could just be you being annoyed about that. It doesn't have to be a very severe scale, but I do feel like this is about you needing to take power back and take control back over your life and over yourself, and identifying that your happiness can't rely on the need to please other people, because sometimes that's not going to give you the results that you need. And then I also have South Node, don't let your past hold you back. And I also got the vibe that like, yeah, I feel like you're almost indebted to this situation or this person. I feel like you feel grateful for them, and because you feel grateful for them, you feel like weighed down by the need to like constantly do for them. And I don't think that you should be like letting your past define the steps you want to take in the future. I think just because someone does something nice for you or something does something that you feel you're grateful for doesn't mean you owe them anything. So that's like something that you have to kind of evaluate this week. For my fire signs, I have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This reading is for you. I would prefer that you apply your rising sign, but you can apply your Sun, Moon, Mars, or Venus. I just feel like the rising sign will be the most accurate for you. And I have Princess of Swords. So I feel like you're in a very cynical position this week. I feel like you're being very cryptic. I feel like the thoughts that you've been kind of going through have been very jaded almost. It's almost like you've been slighted this week. Something happened and now you're on defense mode. I also have Eights of Wands, which is ironic compared to this card because it's also talking about like delays, frustrations, not necessarily having things work in your favor or work out for you. And that sounds really grim, but I have a purpose for this, I promise. But then I also have Five of Cups, which is talking about moving forward. It's talking about getting over those personal setbacks and forgiving and moving forward and not being so like jaded and caught up in holding a grudge. Which fire signs in general, you don't really have that energy to like hold a grudge for a very long time. I feel like you might blow up and then you might get over it. I feel like another thing to keep in mind is that just because things aren't working out immediately or in the way that you want them to, doesn't necessarily mean that they're not working out. I think they're just going on a slower timeline than I think you would prefer or you would like to have. On another note though, I do feel like someone or something really set you off this week, and instead of kind of moving forward, there's a part of you that just wants to hold on to that anger, hold on to those grudges and resentment and kind of like let that fester. But obviously you should avoid doing that because that's not going to give you any kind of satisfaction. I feel like initially you're going to be petty, but keeping in mind that sometimes you need to just let things go and move forward and not like use it as an excuse to be stagnant or stuck in a situation or a headspace is really important this week, because I do feel like you're going to be tested, but I also feel like you can reach some really strong senses of clarity and like breakthroughs as long as you're willing to be flexible. And this is also at times when you don't want to be flexible, and that sounds a lot easier said than done, but I do feel like you holding on to things will make things a lot harder and worse for you this week, so don't do that. And then I also have New Moon in Aries. It's time to take action. So yes, but don't use this as an excuse to start issues with people or start fighting with people or start going in on someone because you're initially shocked or you're initially reacting in a very argumentative or confrontational way. Even if you feel like you're valid, I think it's important to be mindful this week, because that seems to be this week could go very, very good for you. I feel like you could come out very like peaceful, or you could come out very agitated. So that's my reading for you this week. This reading is for water signs. If you are a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, this reading is for you. I would prefer that you apply your rising sign, but you can apply your Sun, Moon, Mars, or Venus. I just feel like the rising sign will be the most accurate for you. And I have Eight of Swords. So this is a period of time where I feel like you've been really caught up in your head. I don't know if you're around people that are making you feel small or if you're just your own worst critic, but I do feel like there's a part of you that's getting really skeptical and also second guessing yourself. You also have Princess of Wands reversed. So I feel like usually you're a very bubbly, optimistic, and outgoing person, and right now you've been very jaded. I think something happened and you're going through this sense of doubting yourself, but also just a bit guarded. Your walls are up this week, and instead of being vulnerable or admitting this, I think there's a sense of feeling like you need to protect yourself and you're being really tough. But you also have Death reversed. So I feel like you're kind of stuck, whether this is a headspace or a situation. I feel like you're stuck in this moment of time where you don't really want to let go of something. You don't really want to move forward. I think you're initially like shocked, and instead of going through it in like a productive or healthy way, you're getting very emotionally wound up and you're being really hard on yourself, and you're also being stagnant with yourself. You don't really want to move forward. I feel like it's almost like you're fighting for something to work out that you don't really know if it's going to, and I feel like you also know that it's not going to. And I feel like instead of facing the facts, I think that you're stubborn and you're dedicated and you want to just keep going in the direction that you're going, but the direction that you're going isn't working out for you and it's not benefiting you. But it's something that's really hard for you to accept. And I think instead of looking at the situation for face value, you're blaming yourself. and you don't need to blame yourself. I don't think it's about anything that you did wrong, but I think it's about just the situation wasn't for you. And I don't think that that's always an easy pill to swallow, because water signs, you guys are emotional, you're intuitive, you want to have specific understandings of things, and sometimes people just don't have that for you. Sometimes it's just not in the cards. So I do feel like this is about letting go and about accepting that a path that you're trying to take or a situation that you're in is just not one that's for you, and you have to walk away from that, because you're kind of like at yourself right now. You're kind of hitting a wall where you're just tearing yourself down, and you're like very much unlike you right now. You're very restless, you're very impulsive, you're very erratic, and you're also hot-headed, and this is just not you. I feel like this is about you not wanting to accept a situation. This could even be about a relationship. Maybe you're really trying to like hold this relationship together and it's not working, and you've been at your own like neck over it, even though it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with someone else. And I don't feel like you're trying to let go of it or give up on it, but instead of like accepting that, I think you're just like ignoring it, and you're staying in this really like negative headspace. So this is a really huge shift for you this week, because you're going to have to really face that and accept that, and that's not something that you want to do. So I don't know if this message is even going to sink in this week for you, if it's going to be an ongoing theme. We'll see in the next week's reading. But I also have nothing will come of the situation, void of course moon. So a void moon is typically when there is nothing aspecting the moon at the moment, and the moon is just kind of in between signs. So it has like, it's almost like zero activity, but it's almost like nullified. And I feel like that's where you are right now. I feel like you've been trying so hard to make this situation work, to make this outcome or have this result, and it's not going to be one that you actually need or want. And I think you're slowly realizing that, but it's taking a lot out of you because you centered so much time and energy around wanting it. So I do feel like kind of identifying nothing is coming of the situation. You have to let it go. Like, you have to walk away. That's not something that you always want to hear, but I also feel like it's something that you need to hear sometimes. So that is your reading. Overall, that completes this video. If you did like it, if you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I post new videos every Saturday. And please comment below, tell me what you thought of this week's reading. Tell me if you thought it was brief or it was too long, or I don't know, whatever you felt. Tell me how last week's reading was for you. And I will see you in my next video.
Don't let them challenge you. Don't let them intimidate you.